tonight. I want to talk about the history of the Dogons and how they have been able to preserve their mystery system.
Thank you. Uh, with the honor that I have for all of my ancestors, I have to admit that they were great because once I traveled in America or other places I traveled to, and I saw how the modern waves came and destroyed everything to the point where not just the history, they destroyed to even just destroy any identity that indigenous people can hold. It's happening in Africa nowadays. As of now, even it's still happening. But it's not like it's just started. It's been going. When we talk about the fall of Misra, the fall of the civilization in the Nile Valley, it's not something that just happened like 1 year. It's something that took like about 3,000 years. Every time there's like invasion happen, attempts of invasions happen. Up until at some point, you get someone from inside, and then yeah, you get it done. So same thing happened to a lot of cultures, a lot of indigenous places, or tribes that existed. Where like it takes time. It takes time, and at some point, all of them will be wiped out and then destroyed. And the Native American here, the thing that happened to the Native American over here is something that if that has to be something that will have happened to our culture or our tribe in Africa, I think the whole world will be left with nothing but just the story that the white man would tell us, the story that the European would tell us. If I have if my father is alive, and then my grandfather also is alive, and then I need to know about something that happened before my father was born, I'm not going to ask you to my father. I'm going to go ask my grandfather. And the modern system and modern education knows that. For us to call this the modern system is because there are systems that have been older, and this is new, and the new is having a problem for the fact that if the ancient still exists, the new will not be validated, will not have the validation. So, but for the old, for the new to exist and then completely control everything, it has to, cut off the old. It has to wipe out the old. How did our ancestors avoid that? We avoided that by being able to adopt a new system. Before, we used to have big, gigantic temples built. We built big gnomes, we built big, temples to big structures to prove how elevated, how aware our people, are, how, we reach elevation, enlightenment. We used to build those things. You can talk about the pyramid. You can talk about a lot of other things that exist. We even have pyramids that are not visible. That's what people don't understand. At the same time, we have people focusing, trying to understand the visible pyramid that we see. There are pyramids that the great ancestor built that are not visible, that you cannot see with these eyes, that still exist. So, in that situation, the change has to happen. Once the fall happen, once the invasion happen, the change has to happen. First, change the way we present ourselves. Meaning, wearing, all of the things that we used to wear, building big structures and all of that. Forget about that. Now let's go and start dressing mud cloth. That's why when you go to our villages, everyone, men, women, children, everybody, elder, everybody's in a mud cloth. You come, you see someone wearing a mud cloth, dirty teeth, collar knots, spitting from here and there and all of that, and then torn clothes, mud, you're not going to think they have anything that is possible for you to even benefit, because that's what modern mind function. That's how modern mind function. The modern mind looks at what is shining. It doesn't look at what is not shining. So because of that, our ancestors, we change the ways. Our ancestors change the ways, culture change, and we start living just simple, and then according to nature. Now, the transmission of the knowledge and its preservation, just for the sake of its preservation and then protecting it, has to happen through some intense rite of passage, some intense initiation. It has to go through that system. And then through that system, within that system, what happened? We don't have any more writing. We don't live like a physical, archives of physical writing. That's like, okay, now we left this, and then this is, for the generation to know. But what do? It's at the same time encrypted within the DNA. I'm sure you watch, many of our viewers watch Wakanda, and they watch Wakanda Forever and all of that. That history is so beautiful. That history comes to really kind of, explain how some of our tribes in Africa really adopted a new way of life where like they exist, but you don't know that they exist.
I have a question, right? So with the Dogons, correct me if I'm wrong. From what I understand, the initiate that gets the information, doesn't he live separate from everyone and he doesn't have sex?
No.
No?
No. During the rite of passage, you have to be, by yourself, where like no sexual activity, nothing that will come and then corrupt your mind, corrupt your physical body, corrupt your spirit, is anything like that is forbidden during the rite of passage. Even within our initiation in temple here in America, with the temples that the Dogon we established, when you decide to come today to start initiation, you stop smoking, you stop drinking, you stop few things. And then for the whole time of your initiation, you will have to stop all of those things. After the initiation, and you travel and then you cross that level, then we'll be like, okay, certain things can be allowed now, depending on who you are. So that same system is what our ancestors held, right? And you don't get to share what you learn through the rite of passage with someone who has not, been present in the rite of passage. We even have codes. We have a way we greet. When you see the modern secret society existed, it's based on that. Freemason, Rosicrucian, Kabbalah, and all of that. Those, system, secret system exists because they saw that that's how indigenous people live. You arrive in the indigenous society and then you will see everybody live as normal. But when it comes to certain matters, only initiates, those who have been through the rite of passage are informed about it, and are the one to even sit and then come up with decisions and solution of all of the things that needs to help the society or the community and all of that. So the knowledge itself, as I was saying, the preservation of it, even things that we still teaching nowadays in our temple in the West, in the Western societies, that knowledge is preserved through the mouth to the ear, the speech. That's why we speak about tradition. When we talk about tradition and people talk about I'm a traditional person, I'm practicing tradition. No, it's not about you doing what you're doing. That's called tradition. It's you being able to transmit the knowledge from your words to someone's ear for it to be encrypted in the cerebral system of the person, where now it stays in the blood, where that person is able to one day have a child, and when that child comes, and then that child gets to also listen the father or the uncle or the master say, repeat the same words, and then it activates right away in the body.
How were your ancestors able to see Sirius B?
Sirius B and C. We saw C. We saw A, B, C. How? Let me put it so simple, right? The planet that we live on is called planet Earth, right? And When we look up, we see all of the other star systems that we see. At some point, our ancestors, in their small wisdom, thought about what's all of these, right? What's all of these? Is there a way to reach these? And this is not just like a one generation thing. This is like a generation after generations. That question has been there. At some point, they will understand that the planet that we're living on is also a celestial body. That's what a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people forget that the planet that we live on is also a celestial body, and that's part of the whole universe, and that one is in relation with the rest of the celestial bodies. We can look at the sun and think the sun is a celestial body. We can look at the moon and see that the moon is a celestial body. We can look at planet Mars. We can look at Venus. All of the Milky Ways, galaxy, we look at them and we are more kind of attracted. We are more kind of intrigued. Like we want to travel there, we want to understand them. But we forget that we're living on one. We were born on one. Okay, we were conceived on one, formed on one, born on that one, and that one is the one to take care of us, raise us, feed us, do everything, give us water to drink, make sure we are even, there's no way we wake up and then we not, our destiny is not linked to this one that we're standing on. Our ancestors just, when we ask those questions ourselves, they just said that we learn how to humble ourselves to planet Earth. Because when you humble yourself to someone that is bigger than you, you gain knowledge. They teach you. The planet Earth is in a relation with the rest of the celestial bodies, just like you and I, we are in a relation now. And your identity is my identity. For me to get your identity, you have to manifest yourself, I will get it. And for me to give you my identity, I have to manifest myself and you get it. The Earth is in communication. I was explaining here the concept of Bayuali and Yenu. How there's one channel that we know about the Earth, energetic channel, that's a gravity. But there's also another one that we know that exists, that's called Yenu. So through those two channels of transmission, emission, there's a million possibilities to identify million other realities that exist within the universe. But all of that have to go through the memory of the Earth. The Earth itself, our ancestors understood that the Earth itself has a memory. Just like you and I, we have our brains where we record everything. We have memories that we record everything, we keep everything. The Earth has that. The trees that we see have that. The rivers have that. The mountains have that. The animals have that. So those memories, the reason why your dog will remember you is not because you feed it. The reason why your dog remembers you is because within the cerebral system of your dog knows it's connected to your own, and then its brain is connected to your brain. It knows only you, and knows only the speech you give. You're the only one to give the command to your dog for your dog to listen. I cannot give command to your dog and your dog will listen. Because you and your dog, your cerebral system are already connected, and then that's like a channel that happened. To the point where I can look at the way your dog behave and know the kind of person you are. Understand you, how you think, how you are, and all of that. So with the Earth has that too, within its composition, where we use a science. I know that's really what you're waiting for. We use a science, and that science is called Mtam science, meaning Mtam in our language would be like from within the Earth. So the Mtam science is a system that allows us to penetrate the memory of the Earth, and then from penetrating its memory, ask the question we want to ask, and then the earth, if the earth has the answer, the earth will reveal it to us. So the earth has been in for millions of years since the beginning. The earth has been in relation with all of those other celestial bodies that exist in the universe. So if the earth has been in that's why we call it universe. Many things existing in unity, right? So if the earth has been in relation with them, anything we want to know, we will know. Anything you want to understand, you will understand. So, and that's how, through that science, that we call them term science, that's how we were able to, our ancestors were able to connect with, you know, some other channels, and then those channels open, those gates open, and then we're able to manifest and then penetrate, understand the mystery of those, you know, gates as well.
And what's the Dogon origin story? Because this is my first time speaking to someone close like you. Everyone else I was speaking to is more someone who read about the Dogons. What is the Dogon origin story that you were told?
Our origin story, like you mean our cosmology?
Yes.
Our cosmology. According to the Dogon and our elders, a lot of people think that we are aliens, and then aliens taught us, and then we are coming from the star system, right? Like our ancestors came from star system. You know the element that you call aliens? In our cultures, we look at them as gods. We look at them as divinities. We look at them as entities, part of the universe. Entities, part of the universe, that have a way of manifesting themselves in our reality, which is a 3D reality. We are like in three-dimensional reality. We can only live in this, but for us to be able to manifest ourselves in another D, that's like 4D, above 3D, to go like 4D, we have to be able to elevate at some point, go through a lot of change, a lot of mutation to be able to do that. So when people sit down and say they meditate, and then they say they resonate and all of that, you're still in the 3D dimension. You're not going anywhere. Even with everything that you resonate with and all of that, you're still in the 3D dimension, reality. And you're just discovering all of the other things that exist within the 3D reality that your senses, conventional sensing, cannot perceive, right? So our story is this. From one entity, from one manifestation, our ancestors were able to encounter a manifestation of a being that we don't know about, that we never met. But we noticed that that being, we noticed that something at some point happened with our crops, with our lands, with our waters at certain time, a year, every year. It has to happen then. But how, who comes to do that? But when we even look, it's not the print of anyone in the village or in the reality then. It's like something that's bigger than whatever we might imagine.
So what happens to the crops?
Well, they come and then take, harvest our crops and take it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, does it still go on today or no?
It's still going on today.
Yeah.
But today, with them perfecting themselves, and us also, in our culture perfecting ourselves, we have a way that we communicate. We don't even wait for them to come and ask for it anymore. You don't wait for them to come and then, ask for you. Just, that that's why we have ceremonies. That's why we have masks.
I was going to ask you, all right.
That's why every year or every season, every period, we have some masks that have to come out with ceremonies, and then we present them the grains. We present them everything as offering. They take it, and we ask for what we want.
Are the masks supposed to represent the faces of the deities they saw, or is just the mask just a mask?
No, it's supposed to represent the faces or the manifestation of the entities or the deities that we saw. That's what the mask is supposed to represent. Some of those masks, you know. So technically, it's just like an exchange. It's like an embassy. The way you might be in Russia, and then you want to go to the American embassy if the American embassy is there. Then once you enter the American embassy in Russia, everything you need that your country to do for you or your government to do for you will be done over there, right? So it's the same way. At some point, embassies have to be created all around where we see like our tribes exist. Embassies have to be created. Actually, even the pyramids represent that. Represent like the embassies. Represent like where those realities and the human then meet and then exchange and then continue their elevation and all of them.
Hold on 2 seconds, stay right here.
Oh, you still?
So, reasoning with your pops, right? Has your father ever spoken about going to the fourth dimension?
My father?
Yeah.
He was up to, I think, 9.
Ninth dimension?
Yeah.
So what's going on up there? Like, I'm just saying, like, when has he ever explained his experiences when he went to another dimension or no?
Yes, he does explain.
So what did he say?
Well, it's just Bob Marley. Bob Marley is a higher vibration human being in the human flesh, in bones and body, who also at some point reach, higher dimension. And then what he does is like he managed to put all of that, manifest all of that through his music. That's why his music will never finish. You never get tired listening to everything Bob Marley did.